Think about your morning, or maybe your evening routine. It's one of the few moments in 2026 where you aren't staring at a screen. You walk to the end of the driveway, maybe dodging a stray cat or checking on the flower beds as you head out. You reach into that metal box and you pull out a stack of envelopes. To you, this is the mail. It's a water bill, a flyer for a pizza place downtown, and a birthday card from your aunt in Wyoming or wherever. You feel a sense of security holding it. This is physical. It's protected by the United States Postal Inspection Service. Tampering with this is a federal crime. In your head, this is the last dark corner of your life where a Silicon Valley algorithm can't see you. But you're wrong. Before that mail ever touched your hand, before the carrier even loaded it into their truck, it was indexed. Every single envelope you receive is fed through a high-speed sorting machine equipped with a suite of cameras. These cameras don't just read the zip code, they digitize the metadata of your physical life. They capture the sender, the timestamp, the weight, and the precise dimensions of your correspondence. I'm Sudo, and this is Impractical Privacy. We spend so much time on this show talking about hardening our GrapheneOS devices, sandboxing our apps, and obfuscating our IP addresses. We treat our digital packets like state secrets. But while you're busy rotating your MAC address, you're leaving a breadcrumb trail of high-gloss paper sitting in a plastic bin at the curb for anyone to see. Today, we're peeling back the sticker on the informed delivery trap. We're going to look at the Mail Isolation Control and Tracking Program, a surveillance apparatus that's been running since 2001 without a single line of code on any of your devices. We're going to discuss how a new mover form is basically a voluntary subscription to a data broker's tracking list, and why your home address is the primary key that ties your anonymous online persona to your physical front door. Grab your shredder. It's time to talk about the metadata of the atoms in your mailbox. We spend so much time on this show talking about Snowden, the NSA, and digital dragnet surveillance. But the most efficient surveillance program in American history started with a postage stamp. Since the 2001 anthrax attacks, the USPS has been running a program called Mail Isolation Control and Tracking, or MICT. Here's how it works. Every single piece of mail that enters the system runs through a high-speed sorter. These sorters are equipped with industrial cameras that take a high-resolution image of the front and back of your envelopes. In IT terms, this is packet inspection. The USPS isn't legally opening the letter. That would be a payload inspection. But here, they're recording the headers. They know who's talking to you, when they sent it, and where they sent it from. And here's the impractical kicker. Law enforcement doesn't need a warrant from a judge to see those images. They just need to file a mail cover request. It's a silent administrative process that leaves you completely in the dark while your physical social graph is mapped out in a government database. Now let's talk about the convenience tax. A few years ago, the USPS launched Informed Delivery. It's a free service where they email you those grayscale photos of your mail every morning so you can see what's coming. It's great. Who doesn't want to know if their latest order from Amazon is on the way, right? Wrong. From a Sudo perspective, informed delivery is a voluntary de-anonymization tool. By signing up, you're taking your physical home address, your primary key in the physical world, and explicitly linking it to your email address, your IP address, and your smartphone's persistent device ID. You've just helped the surveillance state bridge the air gap between your digital life and your front door. If you're running a hardened GrapheneOS device, but you're checking informed delivery on a dirty browser, you just told the trackers exactly where that anonymous phone sleeps at night. Think about the last time you moved. You went to the post office website, paid $1, and filled out a change of address form. You thought you were just making sure your magazines followed you to your new address. In reality, you were signing up for the National Change of Address Database. The USPS isn't just a service, it's a data broker. They sell this NCOA to private companies, credit bureaus, and marketing firms. This is why, within 48 hours of moving into a new place, your mailbox is already overflowing with welcome home coupons and pre-approved credit offers. They aren't just guessing you moved. They bought the notification from the government. Your physical location is a high-value commodity, and the USPS is the wholesaler. And from there, ever wonder why you get mail addressed to current resident? It's not just lazy marketing. In the world of data science, this is a validation ping. When a broker sends a high-gloss flyer to current resident at your address, they're looking for a bounce. If the mail isn't returned to sender, the database marks your address as confirmed active. You've just verified to 1,000 different algorithms that a human being lives at these coordinates. They have a certain income level based on the neighborhood, and they are ripe for more targeted identity harvesting. Your mailbox isn't a graveyard for junk. It's a sensor array that reports back every time you don't send something back. Now, the MICT and the NCOA database are the infrastructure, the big data side of the house. But to really understand how they pin the tail on the donkey, you have to look at the ink itself. You have to look at the 65-bar fingerprint hiding in plain sight, the Intelligent Mail Barcode, or IMB. Next time you pull a pre-approved credit offer or a glossy flyer out of your box, look closely at that long string of vertical bars. In the digital world, we talk about cookies and canvas fingerprinting. In the physical world, the IMB is how a data broker hooks your front door. This isn't just a zip code. Those 65 bars are broken into 4 distinct fields, including a unique serial number to you. If 1,000 people in your city get the same flyer, each one has a different serial number. When the postal scanner hits that code, it generates a delivery event. If the sender paid for tracking services, they get a digital notification the second that mail is sorted for your route. They know with sub-meter precision that their tracking packet has just reached your analog inbox. And it gets even more shredder-worthy when you look at business reply mail. Those envelopes where they pay the postage, they often have your unique serial number printed on them. If you mail that no obligation form back, you aren't just sending paper. You're completing a handshake protocol. You've just sent a physical post request back to the broker's server. And by the time a human ever opens that envelope, the database has already updated your profile to active responder. In this show, I often say that metadata is the message. Well, on an envelope, the barcode is the metadata. and the message it's sending is target acquired. The most effective way to stop the paper trail is to make sure it never even reaches your front door. In the digital world, we use a proxy or a VPN to hide our home IP address. In the physical world, you need to use a PO box or a commercial mail receiving agency, like a UPS store. When you use a private mailbox, that address becomes your public-facing identity. Your utility bills, your bank statements, even your Amazon packages go there. This decouples your residential address, where you sleep, from your mailing address, where you exist to the state. It breaks the link in the NCOA database. If a data broker scrapes a new mail mover list, they find a UPS store, not your living room. You can actually unsubscribe from most of the physical spam, but it's more than just clicking a link. You need to hit the 3 big pillars. There's DMA choice. This is the do not call list for your mailbox. It costs about $5 for 10 years, but it removes you from the prospecting lists of the biggest direct mailers in the country. There's opt-out pre-screen. This is the nuclear option for those pre-approved credit and insurance offers. It hits the 4 major credit bureaus. Yes, 4. Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and Innovis, and tells them to stop selling your name to lenders. And then there's catalog choice, a great free tool for specific retail catalogs that won't take the hint otherwise. Okay, remember those intelligent mail barcodes we talked about? If you just toss them in the recycling bin, you're leaving a verified tracking token literally on the curb. What you need to do is you need to invest in a cross-cut or micro-cut shredder. A strip-cut shredder is like a weak password. It can be cracked with enough patience. A micro-cut shredder turns your metadata into confetti. And then there's the blackout method. If you don't have a shredder handy, and I understand they're not cheap, use a heavy-duty identity theft roller stamp to obliterate the IMB and your address before you bin the envelope. Okay, so we're dealing with the metadata, but what about informed delivery? If you must use informed delivery, maybe you're waiting on a specific legal document or a new piece of tech. Don't use the app. Use a burner email. Link it to a dedicated alias that isn't connected to your primary identity, and access it via a hardened browser. Only check the USPS dashboard through a browser with strict fingerprinting protections, like Mull or Brave, hopefully on your GrapheneOS device. Never click the links inside the notification emails. They contain tracking tokens that tell the USPS and their partners exactly when and where you opened that digital envelope. And hopefully you're using an email service like Proton that strips trackers out of the email that can even phone home when you've opened the email. This week, I'm giving you a mission. Go to your mailbox, grab their resident junk, and find the intelligent mail barcode. Look for those 65 bars. I want you to realize those bars know more about your house than some of your neighbors do. This week, I want you to look at your mail through the eyes of a data broker. Identify the leaks. Count how many pieces of mail arrived this week that used your full legal name versus an alias or resident. And then there's the Form 1583 move. Look into what it takes to set up a private mailbox. It's a bit of a paperwork headache, but it's the physical equivalent of switching to GrapheneOS. We spend so much time encrypting our bits that sometimes we forget about our atoms. Your home should be your sanctuary, not a data point on a surveyor's map. If you value this deep dive into the impractical side of sovereignty, please consider supporting the show on Patreon. It helps to keep our weekly get-togethers ad-free and prevents me from having to sell Impractical Privacy stamps to the highest bidder. Change is in the air. Choices are coming. Make sure your home address isn't one of them. I'm Sudo, and this has been Impractical Privacy. Stay skeptical, stay safe, and remember, shred everything. Oh, and one last thing before you go. Why did the envelope go to the doctor? Because it was feeling a little pushed to the edge, and it had a bad case of the stationary flu. I'll catch you next week.